I understand this is to be a split call. Andrew Little. Andrew Little, 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's one of those days where it's easy to forget even some of those who make a good contribution to the House. And on that note, Mr. Speaker, I just want to make this comment about the honourable last member who spoke. This bill follows on from one we had earlier this year about immigration. And I recall in the debates about that bill, which was all about people smuggling and the vast hordes and armies of people ready to be hoovered up and brought down here, people who were sailing across the Tasman, and it was the government and its members who were saying this is a real threat. These people smugglers had these potential refugees on the horizon, ready to come down, sweep down from parts hither and thither, and flood the nation with otherwise unmeritorious claims for refugee status. And it was the members in the opposition who were saying, this doesn't sound right to us. Where is the evidence? And I am pleased to see, however, that the government now, having seen the evidence, which is a grainy recording of an alleged people smuggler somewhere in Australia saying that there are people ready to come down here, is treated with the scant regard with which we gave it at the time. Mr. Speaker, this bill makes some important modifications. It is worthy of examination by the Select Committee, and for that reason we are supporting it. But, Mr. Speaker, I just want to sound this note of caution as we go into that process, that scrutiny process, and just say there are some aspects that cause us concern. And it goes back to that hoary old chestnut that seems to apply to so many pieces of legislation from this government, where basic human rights and citizen rights are ridden roughshod over. And we can justify these things with all sorts of claims to nationalism and these people are a scourge and local people will be affronted and affected by it. But the reality is, like it or not, and irrespective of the origins of people and how they sometimes get here and the nefarious means by which they travel here, they are people. And so, Mr. Speaker, I look with alarm at clauses like Clause 33, which creates a new Section 111 of the Immigration Act that allows the taking of biometric samples and information irrespective of the status of the immigration application. In fact, the application could be declined, and under this amendment to the legislation, the unsuccessful applicant would still be obliged to provide that information. And regardless of all the assurances we've had in the last 18 months or 2 years about how much work is being done to secure the information systems and the databases of the government, the reality is they are not secure. People are being required to give ever more personal and important and intimate pieces of information about themselves, and we have no assurance about the security of it, nor do we have any assurance about how it might be used. Having been collected for one purpose, we do not know whether it might be used for another. And when we start talking about biometric information, which can sound somewhat innocuous, it can be irises, it can be thumb and fingerprints and all those sorts of things, but nevertheless I have real concerns about giving government officials of whatever government the power to get yet more personal and intimate information when there may not be any need to do so. So, Mr. Speaker, we will look very carefully at those particular provisions that do give power to override citizens and human rights, and we will want to make sure that they are properly justified in the context in which they have been given.
Denise